Hey, MMA fans, welcome back to Carlo Perusa MMA. I'm Carlo Perusa. Miss Rainn Guerrero ahead of her upcoming XFC Grand Prix 2 contest against Pearl Gonzalez over in Detroit, Michigan, Friday night. Rainn, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing? Are you wrapped up training camp at this point?
Yeah. I've wrapped up already. Just focusing on weight cut now. Got a couple pounds, maybe like 8 or 9. So just knocking that out. But yeah, I finished up training camp. It was a short one, this one. We took this about like 3.5 weeks, I think. So it was a short, but I was already in shape. We just had to drill some things, specific to her and stuff like that, and like, get some hard rounds in and stuff. But it was a shorter camp, so yeah, dialed in, ready.
Now, we're only a few days out from the contest. You guys fight Friday night. What is the mindset like for you right now?
Right now I'm just focusing on weight cut. Right now I'm just yeah, I mean, that's really, I'm just, every session right now is just like knocking off the check marks to hit that weight, and then yeah, then it's fight time. I mean, I don't really have like a different mindset or outlook, with this one. It's just like, hey, here to do my job. I'm ready to go. That's it.
So how did you get into this crazy world of combat sports?
Um, so my story is a little crazy. My story is a little random. So I actually got shot back in like 2014, I think it was, and that led me to start martial arts, like more like a self-defense type of thing. And then also I wanted to lose the weight that I had gained, because I gained like 100 pounds. So I was like walking around like at 235, and then got shot, like a domestic violence situation. And so that's what kind of put me to start cardio kickboxing. Was how I started. So that was my mindset. I was going to learn how to defend myself and then lose weight. And that's how it got me to walk into the gym, and then kind of spiraled from there.
So at what point when you started training mixed martial arts, training the kickboxing, did you think, hey, maybe I could put this together and actually start competing?
Um, I really, when I started, I really didn't know that like girls could like be professional fighters. But that's kind of around the same time that Ronda Rousey like hit the scene, and became like really big. So it was kind of like when she came out and was a big thing. That's kind of where I was like, well, I'm already training. Well, I could do that, type shit. And yeah, that's kind of, it was really her getting on the scene, and like me realizing that girls could actually fight and like have a future in fighting, because I played softball growing up. So as a softball player, like, you really don't have much of a career after college. So just seeing like an avenue be real for women's sports was like crazy. So yeah, it was kind of that. But also my coaches kind of just like presented opportunities to me. So it's kind of like those two things.
I feel since UFC, MMA in general is so popular and so mainstream in this day and age that people forget that Dana White, like 15 years ago, might have been even more recent, went out and said women will never fight in the UFC at one point. Ronda Rousey comes around, WMMA is blowing up and is as big and as highly competitive as the guys in this day and age. Did you ever think when you first got into this that the women's scene would be what it turned into today?
No, that it's really crazy. I always say like the girls, women's MMA is like growing like exponentially. Sorry, I had to charge my phone. No, I really didn't. I really didn't know it was going to be as big as it is, and it's crazy. It's a good time to be a woman fighter right now. It really is. Sky's the limit, I swear.
Your fighting style is very exciting. I think one of the things that make you exciting is you're a very all-around, well-rounded fighter. I mean, you have the hands, you have success on the mat. Um, Obviously, in this day and age, it seems like to be at a level where you can fight for a championship, you need to have that. Did you kind of recognize that right away?
Oh yeah. Like when I first started training and stuff, like I said, I started cardio kickboxing, but I started at a jiu-jitsu school. So of course they're not just gonna let you show up to the kickboxing class only. So but I didn't like the gi and jiu-jitsu and stuff when I first started. But I did it because I knew I had to if I wanted to fight, in the cage and stuff. So yeah, I started jiu-jitsu more so because I had to. But yeah, just recognizing that fact, yeah, for sure. For MMA, you do need it all. So
Your last contest, you were fighting on the Contender Series.
Mhm.
Contest didn't go your way, but what was that moment like? Do you remember where you were when you got the phone call that you were going to be fighting the Contender?
Yeah, I was actually in the hospital for work. I do medical equipment sales, so a lot of the times throughout the day, like I'm in hospitals and clinics and stuff. And I got the call from my manager, Jason, while like I'm in the hallways, like I think I was in ICU maybe, and I was like, "Oh shit, let's go!" But I had to whisper. So yeah, and I just got off work and went to the gym, and we just started going from there. The Contenders was a real crazy experience. Like you think because you're fighting in the apex, it's not a crowd and stuff like that, that it's not going to get you, and it does. Like I was like so nervous in the back for Contenders, and I had to like deal with nerves I never had before. Like, I felt like throwing up and like all that stuff. I had never felt that shit before, so it was really crazy. But yeah, that Contenders fight didn't go my way. Took that opponent on 4 days notice, and uh Barboza, being like what was she, like a double black belt, right? Jiu-jitsu and judo Olympian and stuff like that. Yeah, I wish I had more time for her, but I hope we could run that back in the UFC. I'd love to get that one back. Yeah, I just got caught at the end. Just got caught right there at the end of the first round, and felt like my arms were gonna break. So I verbally tapped, and yeah, I mean, shit, I just got caught, but I know we made it to the second round. I don't know if you saw her UFC debut, but man, if we would have made it, man, we would made it back to the store. That fight would have been the same way, except I would have won that one. So we just need to get back to the stool, but it's okay. I mean, shit happens. Shit, she's good. She's good at what she does, and I got caught, so it's just like, fuck. Learn from it, keep training, and just keep fighting, and that's it.
Do you have any positive takeaways from that experience that's going to translate positively for the rest of your career?
Yeah, don't play to people's strengths. Don't fucking play with people and their especially if they're considered specialists and stuff. Maybe I think that was maybe a little bit ego on my part, her going to the ground and me just following her to the ground is like I should have just let her sit up, stuff like that. But then also I was really proud of that fight because like I said, I was so nervous in the back. And me just kind of like suppressing those and just like being present in the moment and still going out there and like performing and just, I feel like I can deal with and handle nerves a lot better now having that experience. Cause like just translating to this fight, this is a huge fight, fighting Pearl and on this big XFC card with all these, former UFC vets and stuff like that. It's a big opportunity and stuff. And normally I feel like if I had this opportunity a year ago, I'd be like, oh fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh fuck. But like, I don't feel like that this time. I don't feel like that at all. I just feel like confident and ready and just like, let's go,
Now, you just mentioned your opponent, been in the UFCs, done some BKFC commentary work. If you're a follower of mixed martial arts, you know who Pearl Gonzalez is. When you got the phone call that you could face Pearl, was it a no-brainer to say yes right away?
Oh yeah, for sure. You have to jump on these opportunities when they come, just flat out. You have to be ready for them. So yeah, I was gonna say yes either way, but me particularly, I have a hard time finding opponents or keeping opponents. I'll say I've signed a lot of contracts down here in Texas for regional promotions down here and stuff, and just have a hard time keeping an opponent. They always have a weird, crazy reason for pulling out and stuff. So I haven't been able to fight for the last 9 months it's been. So just having somebody like Pearl, knowing that she's not going to pull out, having just this opportunity to fight, I was like, there was no way I was going to sit down. I don't care what happened. I'm showing up.
When you look at this XFC card, I mean, it's absolutely loaded. I think there's 6 former guys from the UFC fighting on the card. And my eyes always go to the co-main event and look at your fight. This is my prediction for fight of the night. I mean, I think your styles, you have the hands, she's got the hands. You guys' jiu-jitsu is both on point. Could you see this potentially being a 3-round dogfight unless someone gets finished?
Yeah, for sure. This has all the potential for that. But I'm always ready for a 3-round war. That's what I train for, and that's what I'm ready for. I'm never surprised by it. I'm always prepared for that. So yeah, for sure. This definitely has potential for that, but this also has a potential for not that and it being done in the first. So we'll see.
Both you guys come from Mexican backgrounds. A lot of times when you see two Mexican fighters, I mean, it's quite a spectacle. They leave it all they have out on the cage. Do you take a lot of pride in getting to go in there with another Mexican individual?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like our names are kind of the same too, right? Like Rainn Guerrero, Pearl Gonzalez. I feel like we do have a lot of similarities with our style and our mindset and how we fight and stuff. Differences too, of course, but I feel like we are very similar. So yeah, no, I'm definitely excited and like honored to share the cage with her. Honestly, fighting she's like the biggest name that I fought, so it really does a lot for me in my career. So yeah, no, I'm blessed and grateful.
You make a good point. RG versus PG. I mean, that's pretty good marketing, I think.
Right? Rain and Pearl. Sounds pretty great.
Now, with a win over Pearl, do you think that helps you maybe get back to the contender, or maybe try to maybe get a contract with the UFC or go to one of those bigger shows?
Of course, a win over Pearl would be like my second UFC vet under my belt, and just getting a win, coming off that loss from contenders, getting another win over a vet, I think that puts me right back in the talks for contenders. Maybe me being this time taking short notice, or just getting that call, being ready for that. That's always a possibility. But
You know,
yeah, I think the win over Pearl puts me right back.
the first UFC bet that you took on was Christina Marks. Overall, were you pleased with that performance? I mean, that was a massive win for you, and probably a lot of reasons why you got that contender push.
Yeah. That was a huge win for me. I'm just will never get over the fact that I didn't finish her. The fact that we went to decision would probably haunt me for the rest of my life, but took a lot away from that too, because I feel like I didn't get to finish because I didn't pull that last little bit that I had inside. I didn't pull that out, and so that will forever haunt me, and I'll make sure that that never happens again. So, but yeah, I kind of forgot the question.
When you go out, when you fight, are finishes always in the back of your head? Do you take a lot of pride in that?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. When I don't get a finish, and especially when I'm this close to it and I don't get it, it sucks. It haunts me for sure. Yeah, I don't think I think in this day and age, I think finishes are just as important as record. And I think you can have a good record, but if you're not putting them away, I think that speaks a lot to the matchmakers. And yeah, I always look for the finish. And so I've been working a lot on mindset and cardio, and just being able to pull that last little bit out when you're dog tired and you don't have nothing left, and just pulling that last little bit. I've really been working on that. And that's a mental thing that I was having trouble with at a point. Like I didn't want to gas, and so now I've been working a lot on like not caring if I'm guessing, because I know I got it. I know I got it in the tank. So yeah,
Some
we can get that finish this time.
so many people watch the sport in this current day and age, but I think very few people realize what it's like to be a fighter. There's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made, especially here in the regional scene. As you mentioned, you work over in medical sales. A lot of people can't devote their whole life to fighting. They have jobs. Some people have kids. They have to work all day, then they train, stay up late at night, get up early. It's really tough to balance it all. What motivates you to get through this?
I've been doing this for a long time. I've been training about like 10 years now, maybe going on 10. Yeah, I've been training, almost a decade, and I've been working too long and too hard for me to just give up now, because it is hard. It is hard not being able to train full time, still having to work and stuff like that, and balancing it and doing that, balancing work life and fight life, and trying to keep up with the sport, right? And how fast and the evolution and stuff. It gets hard, and I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, like, I get in a fork in the road sometimes. I'm like, okay, like I'm 32, like what is the realistic thing I'm gonna do here? Like, do I pivot this way with the career and making money, or do I keep at with this? And like, I just can't give this up. I've worked too hard and too long, so I just owe it to myself. So at this point in my career, I'm just giving it all I got. Giving this push to the UFC, all I got, and just worked too hard and too long, and I owe it to myself to follow it through. So,
Now, you come into this contest as the younger fighter. Do you think you're going to have an advantage from the youth side of things against Pearl?
I don't know, maybe. I don't think 37's old. I think she's 37, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think 37's old. So, I don't know, maybe. We'll see. I know I got cardio. So I think if anything, the cardio would be the difference versus age. I don't think 37's old. I think if anything, she'll have like grown woman strength. That I think 37's prime. I don't know, for women at least. I think so. No, I don't think I think cardio will have more to do with it than age, honestly.
We talked about it a little briefly, but you guys both have a very good skill set on the mat. It's something I'm going to be very interested to watch. Do you think the fact that both of you guys are very strong with your jiu-jitsu, do you think that might cross that out and turn this into a little more striking?
Um, I hope so. I hope so. I want to throw these things. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know her game plan for me. I know that I know how I fight, so I know how you could try to prepare for me and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, because I kind of morph into whatever the fight goes, so I'm ready for whatever. If we want to go to the ground, that's cool. We can do that. But we can also throw fisticuffs too. I'm down with that.
This XFC promotion really looks like it's doing big things. It had a rebirth about a year ago. It's put on a couple shows. Now, when you look at each show since the rebirth, I mean, there's a lot of big names. As I talked about before, 6 former UFC guys on this card. I mean, obviously, you coming from the Contender Series. Does that hype you up a lot, being able to share a crowd with a bunch of other very high-level fighters here at the regional stage?
No, it does. That's like cool as shit. They got me on the co-main for a card like this. Is crazy. Like, I'm excited as hell. But it's like the coolest thing ever. Going from like not having to fight, at all, to like, oh, here, co-main on this. I'm like, bet, let's go. Yeah, I love this. This is amazing. I'm like super grateful right now. Super happy.
Have you ever been to Detroit before? You excited to go out there?
I've been when I was younger. My dad, he was a contractor and he had a project up in Detroit. So when I was like in the 5th grade, we went up there to visit him, and it was dead of winter, and it was very, very cold, very snowy. Well, what I remember, it wasn't that fun. But now it's summer, and it's all this time later, so we'll see.
I think you two are going to bring a lot of fireworks to heat up that atmosphere, no doubt. But last question for you, Rainn. In a perfect world, what happens when you take on Pearl Gonzalez this Friday in Detroit, Michigan?
What happens when I meet Pearl in Detroit, Michigan this weekend? Finish her in the first TKO.
Well, Rainn, thank you so much for talking to me today. I wish you nothing but the best, and looking forward to watching you guys fight.
All right. Thanks, man. See you soon.